partner Sean Crockwell put it best when he said you cannot cherry pick on discrimination. Everybody, once you start on the basis of are you a human being, then within the right bounds, everybody has the same rights as everybody else does. If you like I always said, I would have defended the church if a gay couple had rolled up and tried to bring a case to say you have to marry us in your church, and it was against their doctrine and their creed. Of course, those religious freedoms are protected. They're protected, by the Constitution. They're protected by the Human Rights Act. They're even protected, in my view, with regard to the Marriage Act, because the Marriage Act makes a provision for a religious marriage, a religious ceremony, and a contractual ceremony. So all we were ever arguing was the contractual right to marry, not the religious right. The government created a Civil Union Act, and really, distinguishingly, the only difference really is that it's called a civil union, but you can't call it a marriage, and you don't have the right to get married. That's what that act specifically says. You can do all of these things. It's called a civil union. You get this, but you cannot get married. So immediately you're discriminating on a class of you can't do something that everybody else can do because why? Because you're gay. So just even in context of, you can dress it up with some colorful artifice any way you want to obviate the issue, but you're still doing the same thing. You are saying you cannot do this because you are gay. Now, historically, let's think about that. You can't do this because of your religion. You can't do this because of your sex. You can't do this because of your race, I mean, the rhetorical question is, why should women not be happy having a job and getting paid less than a man? I mean, in modern terms, that's just a nonsense argument. Of course that can't be right. And it's sexual discrimination. That's discriminating on women because of their sex. And people just don't really seem to get it. If we put up a sign, in a bar or something saying like no gay people allowed, I think people would probably get that more. Well, hold on a second, I don't agree with that. You'd be denying them the right to, go into a place, and people would jump up and down and say, well, that's discriminatory. But they don't seem to get it when you say, okay, you want to get married, but no, we're not allowing you that. And that's like saying, you've got all of these rights, but you can't have this specific one. To me, this has always been a very, very simple case, and still is. A human issue where everybody should have the same entitlement, and if they're not, it's discriminatory. End of story.